girl Wakeji Kamore, and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. I have a feeling you guys do that as I do it, but thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I do hope that you're having a fantastic day and a fantastic time whenever it is that you get to listen to this and watch this Bible summary. If this Bible summary is blessing you in any way, kindly do like, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, share it with someone else. So today we are going to be reading Deuteronomy chapter 9, and I'm going to be reading it from the Message version. It's very dramatic and I like that. So tag along and let's see what Moses is telling people today. So this is what it says. This very day, you're crossing the Jordan to enter the land and out nations that are much bigger and stronger than you. I don't know whether this actually was happening like the day they were crossing Jordan, because the Bible actually says, this version says this very day. You're going to find huge cities with sky-high fortress walls and giant-like people, descendants of the Anakites. You've heard all about them. You've heard them saying, no one can stand up to an Anakite. Today, I like this. No one can stand up to an Anakite, but we're going to see that God can. Yeah, God can. Anyway, today know this. God, your God, is crossing the river ahead of you. He's a consuming fire. He will destroy the nations. He will put them under your power. You will out them and very quickly wipe them out, just as God promised you would. But when God pushes them out ahead of you, don't start thinking of yourself. Don't start saying, it is because of all the good that I have done that God has brought me in here to dispossess these nations. Actually, it's because of all the evil things that these nations have done. No, it's nothing good that you have done, no record for decency that you have built up that got you here. It is because of the vile wickedness of these nations that God, your God, is dispossessing them before you, so that he can keep his promised word to your ancestor, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Know this and don't ever forget it. It is not because of any good that you have done that God is giving this good land for you to own. Anything but. You are stubborn as mules. What is it? I want to shout you. You are stubborn as mules. Keep in mind and don't ever forget how angry you made God, your God, in the wilderness. You've kicked and screamed against God from the day you left Egypt until you got to this place. Rebels all the way. You made God angry at Horeb. You made him so angry that he wanted to destroy you. When I climbed the mountain to receive the slabs of stone, the tablets of the covenant that God made with you, I stayed there on the mountain for 40 days and nights, and I ate no food, I drank no water. Then God gave me 2 slabs of stone engraved with his finger. They contain the word of God, everything that God spoke to you on the mountain, out of the fire on the day of the assembly. It was at the end of the 40 days and night that God gave me the 2 slabs of stones, the tablets of the covenant. God said to me, get going and quickly get down there, because your people, whom you led out of Egypt, have ruined everything. In almost no time at all, they have left the road that I laid out for them and gone off to make themselves a cursed god. You remember, guys, how the Israelites had made a golden calf and they were worshipping it? This is what Moses is actually retelling. God said, I look at these people and all I see are hard-headed rebels. Get out of my way now so that I can destroy them. I'm going to wipe them off the face of the map, and I will start over again with you and make a nation far much better and bigger than they could ever be. I turned around, this is Moses said, I turned around and started down the mountain. But by now the mountain was blazing with fire, carrying the 2 tablets of covenant in my arms. That's when I saw, there you were, sinning against God, your God. You had made yourself a cursed god in the shape of a calf. So soon you had left the way, the road that God had commanded you to walk on. I held the 2 stone tablets high and threw them down, smashing them into bits as you watched. Then I flung myself down before God, just as I had at the beginning of the 40 days and nights. I ate no food and drank no water. I did this because of you, all your sins, sinning against God, doing what is evil in God's eyes and making him angry. I was terrified of God's furious anger, his blazing anger. I was sure that he would destroy you, but once again, God listened to me and Aaron. How furious he was with Aaron and ready to destroy him. But I prayed for Aaron also at that time. But that sin thing you had made, that calf god, I took and burnt it in the fire and pounded it and ground it until it was crushed into fine powder. Then I threw it into the stream that comes down from the mountain. And there was a camp of Taberah, which is blaze, and Massa, which is testing place, the camp of Kibroth, which is graves of the cravings, and more occasions where you made God furious with you. The most recent was when God sent you out from Kadesh Barnea, ordering you, go, possess the land that I'm giving you. And what did you do? You rebelled. You rebelled against the clear orders of God, your God, refusing to trust him. You wouldn't obey him. You've even rebelled against God from the first day I knew you. When I was on my face, stretched out before God, those 40 days and 40 nights after God said he would destroy you, I prayed to God for you. My master, God, don't destroy your people, your inheritance, whom in your immense generosity you redeemed, using your enormous strength to get them out of Egypt. Remember your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Don't make too much of the stubbornness of these people. They are evil and their sin, lest the Egyptians from whom you rescued them say, God couldn't do it. If he got tired and wasn't able to make them get to the land that he promised them. He ended up hating them and dumped them in the wilderness to die. They are your people still, your inheritance, whom you powerfully and sovereignly rescued. And that basically is the end of the chapter. That's where the chapter ends. And I'm going to read for you. I like that verse that says, no one can stand against the Anakites. And I'm going to read for you a few phrases that I know you might relate with, or I know that you've heard before. Phrase number 1, no one can get an order like that without bribing, or no one can get a tender like that without bribing. There's phrase number 2, no one can work and parent and still do a PhD. No one can work, have a full-time job, be a parent, and still do a PhD. No one below 50 years can get into that position. No one below the age of 50 can get into that position. And then there's a phrase, no couple can reconcile after divorce. No couple can reconcile after divorce. No one gets married with 3 kids out of wedlock. No one gets married with 3 kids out of wedlock. Or no business can break even after only 3 months. And you know the thing is, these are phrases that people do. And there are so many other things that people say. No one can do this, no one can do this, no one can do this, no one should be able to do this. And these are, and could be even true without God. They could actually be true without God. Because God makes all the difference. Let me take you back to a chapter to Deuteronomy chapter 8, which is what we covered yesterday. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 18. And it says that God gave the Israelites the strength to make the wealth, so he could fulfill the promise that he'd made to Abraham. God is the one that gives us the strength to do the things that we do. He's the one that gives us the favor to get into places that we get into. And in chapter 9, it reminds us that it had nothing to do with Israelites' good deeds. The things that you have, the things that you have accomplished, the things that you have found yourself, the places that you found yourself in, has nothing to do with your good deeds. It was actually chapter 9 says that it was God's determination to fulfill a promise that he had made to a man who had faith in him. The reason the Israelites were going to get this land, it had nothing to do with them, because these people are rebels. As the Bible is calling them, they were stiff-necked people. But the reason why they're going to get this land is because God had made a promise to Abraham. The whole journey and the whole adventure had nothing to do with the Israelites. It was about God keeping a promise that he had made to a certain man. Not just any man, but a man who had faith in him. If Abraham did not have faith in God, all these things would not be happening. Like, God would be like, see, I said and he didn't believe me, so that's that. But this specific man called Abraham actually believed the things that God had said against all odds. in his life, against the fact that, he was 100 years old when he got a son. Against all odds, he actually believed the things that God had said. And God was like, okay, I've said these things. This man has actually believed me, so I'm delivering because this guy has actually believed. And my prayer is that we will be counted as those who have faith in God. So much faith in God that God is going to go to great lengths to fulfill every promise that he has made to us. Not because of our good deeds, not because we are perfect people, but because we believe every word that he has said to us, because we've actually taken his word as it is. He said he's going to bless me. I take it and I believe it. Now I'm just waiting for him to deliver. He said he's going to heal me. I believe that I'm healed. And then God is actually going to go to great lengths to actually make sure that you receive that healing. He said that I'm going to prosper. He said that I'm actually going to go, to get a sponsorship and a scholarship to study abroad. He said, like, you just actually believe what God has said. And then God will go to great lengths to make sure that it actually happens to you. So my prayer again is that we'll be counted as those that have so much faith in God that God actually goes at great lengths to deliver because we believe in him. This is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. See you next week.